Hello and welcome back to MTS. In this video, we are going to cover searching tools. The search commands we're going to cover in this video are going to be the grep command and the find command. We're going to go over how to use these commands to locate either text, files, and or directories within the Linux operating system. So let's get into the video. The first command we want to cover is the grep command. For this video, I am going to create a file called test file with the vi command. So the text that I'm going to put into this file is going to be the text that we're going to use while searching within the file. Now that we have the file created, let's go over some commands that we can use to search within a file with the command grep. The grep command is a tool that is used to search for strings and patterns in a file or within a group of files or within a directory or subdirectories. Always remember that if you ever want to view the arguments that one can use with a command, we can use the help menu page. The first argument I'm going to cover is the I argument, which stands for in case sensitive. What this means, regardless of the case of the string in the word that you're searching for, the -I argument will ignore all case sensitive settings on the string and just search for the matching letters. We are going to search for A, B, C, D in the test file.txt file. We get two returns. We get one line that shows a capital A, lowercase b, c, and d, and one that shows a capital A, B, C, and D. Since our search was done all in lowercase, but we used the -I argument, it matched the string versus the case of the string. So if we execute the same command without the I argument, we will not get a return because A, B, and C, and D, both lines have at least one capital letter. The I argument stands for in case sensitive. The next argument we're going to cover is the W argument. The W argument conducts search for whole word strings, which means it is looking for the entire word of the word that you put into your search. And it's not going to just return the word, but it's going to return the line that the word is on. So since we use a W argument for the entire word, let's do a search for the word test, the same file, and we see we get the entire line with the word test, and the whole word search is highlighted. The next argument we're going to cover is the R argument. The R argument stands for recurse, which means search within subfolders. So currently we're in the root user's home directory. So what we're going to do is we are going to move the test file into documents directory. So the file is no longer here, but it's in the documents directory. So let's navigate to another directory and conduct a recursive search. We're going to use the grep command with the R argument. We're going to search for the 456 lettering. We are going to say where to search. We're going to search within the root user's home directory. Once we hit enter to execute this command, it will show us where it found a file that contained the string 456. The grep command search all files within the documents directory. In this case, there's only one file, so it searched that file for the string 456. Next argument we want to cover is the V argument. The V argument prints on the screen all of the lines that does not contain our search string. So let's navigate back to our home directory and let's run the grep command. We're going to keep the recursive argument because we are going to go into the document directory. We will also want to add the V argument. We're going to search for the word practical. We're going to search within documents directory. There's only one file in here, the test file. Let's enter the test name. Go into the file name. We do not need the recursive argument. In this case, it printed out every single line because I spelled the word practical incorrectly in the file. So let's fix that. Okay, let's execute that search again. The search string we're looking for, practical, was not returned in the output because the V argument returns all lines that does not have the search parameter string. So those are the basic arguments that you will use with the grep command. We have the I argument, we have the W argument, we have the R argument, and we have the V argument. I is in case sensitive. W is an exact match word. The R argument goes recursive in the subfolders. And the V argument is the argument that prints everything except for your search string. Those are some basic grep command. Next, I'm going to go over how to use the find command to locate files and or directories. Now we are going to go over the find command. The find command is used to locate the list of files and directories based on the conditions that are specified within the search. It goes without saying again, if you want to know a list of arguments that goes with the command, you can issue the command minus the help page. You will be given a list of arguments that you can use with the command. So let's get into using the command. To use the command, you will start with the command find. The next parameter is going to be the location of where we want to search. So in this case, let's just search our home directory, which can be represented by typing out the absolute path to our home directory. Or, since we are already in our home directory, we can just issue that with a period. Next, we're going to issue the condition that we want to use for the search. In this case, we want to search for a file by name. So we're going to type in the word name, and then we are going to type the name of the file that we want to look for. In this case, it's going to be testfile.txt. Then we get the results of the absolute path to the file. Let's change our file name a little bit. So I changed the T in the word test from lowercase to capitalized. So if we execute the same search again, we do not get a response. Which brings us to our next condition. So with the find command and the location that we want to search, which is our present working directory, the condition we want to pass is I name. I, just like the grep command, represents ignore case. Then we're going to pass the same file name, testfile.txt. This time we get a return. Even though our search was for a lowercase t in test, since we ignored the case sensitivity of the file name, we got the return of the file with the capitalized T. So let's say we want to search for a directory. We would start with a command and then the location where we want to search. All right, let's do it this way. Let's navigate to another directory. Start with the command and the location that we want to search. We want to search our user's home directory. The condition that we want to search for is going to be type D for directory. And the name of the directory is going to be desktop. We got no return. The reason we didn't get a return because I know that desktop begins with a capital D. A good common practice is if you're ever going to use the name condition with a search, that you add the I in front of it to ignore the case, just in case the capitalization is different between the search and the actual file name or directory name. So if I just add an I here, execute the same search, we would get the absolute path to the desktop directory. So let's talk about using a wildcard while searching for files in our directories. The wildcard represents anything. Let me show you what I mean. I'm going to conduct a search for every file name within the files and directory folder that ends in .txt. So I don't care what it starts with, just as long as it ends with a .txt. I want you to list all files that end in .txt. So it's going to be the find command. And we are going to search our present working directory. We're going to start with the find command in our present working directory. We're going to search for a file. We're going to ignore any case sensitivity. And we want to search for any file name that has anything .txt. And what we got was the search went through every directory within our present working directory to include the subdirectories and look for anything that ends in .txt. The wildcard represents everything that comes before .txt. You can use the wildcard in numerous of ways to aid you in your search. So let's say we run that same command, and before the wildcard, I just type in the word file, and anything that comes after file and ends in .txt in the same location. So now our search is slightly different. It doesn't give us anything before the .txt. It just has anything that has the word file, and doesn't matter what comes after it, .txt. So if I run the same search, let's clear the screen. So if I run the same search without the wildcard, I get nothing because there is no file.txt. So the wildcard opens up the parameters of the search to allow the system to look for extra strings to add to the search. We can also search for files and directories that have certain permissions. We see that a desktop downloads and documents directory has 755 permissions. We can search for directories and all files that have certain permissions. The command would be find the location that you want to search. We're going to stick with our present working directory. In this case, we're going to search for type D for directory. We're going to issue the perm condition, and we're going to issue 0755. And we want to print that to the screen. So within our present working directory, these are all the directories that have 755 permissions. Do we have any that have seven permissions? We do not. Same could be applied to files. Usually files do not come with 777 or 755. They come with 644 permissions. And these are the list of all the files within our present working directory and subdirectories that have the 644 permissions. Consequently, if we want to search for a file or directory that have certain permissions, we can also search for files or directory that do not have certain permissions. If we use the find command in our present working directory, I search for the type directory. We use the exclamation point with the permissions 755. We get all of the directories that do not have the 755 permissions. So for example, we have the .cache directory. Take a look at those permissions. It's right here, and it's just 700. And the same with files. Find in our present working directory, type F for files, the exclamation point for not matching, the permissions of 0644. As we see, we don't need to use a print condition, but all of these files do not have 644 permissions. So if we go to new directory, new file text, just take a look at permissions on this file here. The permissions on this file is 660. So those are basic ways you can use the find and grep command to conduct a search within a Linux operating system for files and or directories or strings within files or recursively in subdirectories. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.